Hello again, I am Jim Bob and welcome back to a farewell to Gorala. We've put a fair bit of time into this map, especially this area here in particular, our little custom forest, and it seemed only fair that we give it a proper send-off as we're about to move maps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little time-lapse here just to show this forest kind of coming to life. I'm really curious, and I know a lot of you are as well, to see how this actually turns out and what it looks like when it's done. So without further ado, let's crank up the time and let's sit and watch this forest grow. I hope you enjoy. So it has taken us years, and I mean years, to get this forest grown, but it is now finally grown. So let's take a look at what it feels like to drive in to our new forest. These tracks actually look pretty nice. Perhaps not quite enough grass around the edges of them. And then we come to this kind of clearing here. ground texture looks great. It really does, with those trees poking through. Let's head out the other way. Then we'll do some exploring on foot as well. Check out, see if our trees have different heights. See what our tracks look like. Let's zoom out a bit. You see what our tracks look like. They actually look really, really good. Just needs more grass around the edges. And speaking of grass around the edges, you can see how we've tried to break up that look of just a solid straight line. I mean, obviously there's a distinguishable line. You can't get away from that. That's pretty much unavoidable, but it does look a lot better than it did. And I think going forward, whereas I've left little patches like this near the edge, that all needs to go next time I do one of these, because it just highlights again that straight line edge there, and that's what we've been trying to avoid. So just leaving it like this, where you have this kind of rough edge and little patches like that, is fine, but when you have patches inside on the edge of the field itself like that, it doesn't look quite so good, I don't think. I mean, well, see for yourself, see what you think, but you can see all the way along here again, it just defines where that straight line edge is, and that's kind of what we were trying to avoid. So lesson learned for the next time, and let's see what it looks like over here as well. A little patch there we didn't seed. And over here you can see, you know, the effect actually looks really good. I mean, it's not as noticeable when it's a grass on grass like that. It really isn't. It's only when you get those straight lines start to show up that it really does become noticeable. But all in all, you know, the lessons that I've learned from doing the forest like this have been good. There's not enough grass for sure. There needs to be more grass. I mean, obviously we didn't do this section. The plan was always to come back and do that at a later time, but given how long it took for this forest to grow, I don't know if I'll ever do a custom forest like this on seasons, unless I do it before seasons starts, and then load seasons up with a forest kind of already grown. You can see here we've got trees at different heights as well, because the distances between them isn't particularly good. So you can see that one there, 3 meters, and that's a red distance. The distance needs to be a lot higher than that. So you can see here, 7.7 meters. This tree has managed to reach 80% height. Let's try this one here. 6.8, and again it's reached 80. Have we got any trees that have hit 100? This one's on its own. That's 9.6. So that's the right kind of distance, but it's at 80%. So maybe there's still scope for this forest to get even taller. Maybe. I'm just not prepared to sit and wait for another couple of years for this thing to you know, just on the off chance that one tree might get a little bit taller. But it's really great that we can see all these different tree heights throughout here. It really does make it feel very kind of natural, and the way that they're randomly spaced as well. It's just a shame we couldn't put some bushes and some undergrowth in here as well. That would really have transformed it, especially on the edge here. If we could have put some, you know, bushes around this kind of boundary, and again you can see a much better look here as how much more natural it looks all the way along here. The edge of the field is what, here, but when you're standing along like this you wouldn't know it. It looks so much better. So there we go. There is our custom forest with trees of many heights. Some of them very small, some of them very tall. But yeah, I'm very, very pleased with the way the majority of this turned out, and I've learned some very useful lessons for how to improve it for the next time I take on a project like this. I mean, how cool does this look? I mean, obviously it's pretty small. It's a shame we couldn't really do more of it, but yeah, there's no way, even if we'd stuck with Deutz Fahrm, there's no way that this would have grown to anything resembling this. by the time that we'd kind of ended this series. I say this took at least 5 years of growth, and on a 9-day seasons playlist, that was never going to happen. We probably would have been lucky to get 2 years out of it before we ended it. So yeah, there we go. But you guys wanted to see the forest. I wanted to see the forest as well, and here it is in all its tree-y glory. I am really very, very proud of this indeed. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching this special goodbye episode of Deutz Fahrm here on Gorala. I hope you've enjoyed the mini series that we kind of ended up doing, and I really hope that you've enjoyed, you know, our little creative trip on how to build a forest. The only thing I can say is, you know, if you're going to do this in seasons, be prepared to wait many, many years to see the fruits of your labour. That's it from me. I am Jim Bob, and I'll be back with a brand new Let's Play, a return of Fent Farm on Green River 2017, very soon.